Hurtling headlong for a crisis, going for broke, has hardly been closer to home for those who risk life and limb at the coalface of jumps racing. Champion jockey Tony McCoy is one of the lucky ones, a jockey in demand. But for 24 of the 41 riders for this meet at Fontwell Park, it was one ride only and one riding fee each, tipping the scales at about £100 for a day's work. Once awash with cash, prize money for racing is drying up fast.
All you want is a fair crack of the whip, and as I said, I know there's a global recession, but it's worse now than it was 15 years ago.
The sport's lifeblood is the racing levy, drawn from bookmakers' profits every year. But over the past 3 years, as the recession has hit, racing's return has almost halved.
There's more meetings now than there ever has been, and there's less prize money going around to those meetings. I think we're about 40 million down on the stage it was at 2 years ago, yet we've got an extra 200 meetings to fill.
This is becoming the sport's greatest obstacle. If the levy runs dry, racing could be heading for a fall. Mark Bradburn broke his back in a fall earlier this year that left him 2 inches shorter than he used to be. But it's the diminishing returns that hurt the most.
The thing about racing is that a lot of people will continue to do it despite the costs because of the love of it. If it was any other industry, there'd be an awful lot more complaints. You know, people are really living by the breadline.
So who's to blame for the shortfall? Racing believes it's the offshore bookies who at present don't pay into the levy.
Definitely look at the offshore thing. Is there some way, it's not going to be organised for this levy and probably the next, but there's some way that legislation has got to be brought out to bring that money back in.
You can't get blood out of a stone, and the profits are not there. They're not what they were, and it's as simple as that. So how can you pay a levy on profits of yesteryear? You can't.
While the racing industry and bookmakers cannot agree, the government will now intervene to set a fair price for the levy, or maybe replace it altogether. Racing is in need of a leap of faith, but right now, for many jockeys, it's less flat out for victory, more flat out and in danger of staying down. Skudder, Sky News.